I like that dynamic here on the show is what makes it interesting for me. We got three guys back there, a bunch of characters, and the two of us in here. I'm trying to make the show interesting. I'm trying to enrich the dynamic, but Ian refuses to engage. Like, after all I've done for him, I gave him purpose, I gave him a job, I gave him a girlfriend, a love life, everything. I built him up to the man he is today, and I don't know what I do to deserve this disrespect. Like, I genuinely want to know.
Well, it looks like H3H3 has found himself stumbled into another controversy. This time, though, I gotta be honest, it doesn't seem that bad. And we'll roll through the footage in just a moment, but basically, H3 was having some jokes at one of his co-hosts' expense, and a lot of people took this as H3 bullying an employee. And though I haven't rolled through all the footage just yet, I think as we take a look at it in just a moment, we'll see that that's not really the case, and this whole thing was really just overblown to a whole other degree. So my buddy Nick threw up a tweet. He said, one of the most upvoted posts on the H3 subreddit is about them bitching at their intern and making the stream legitimately uncomfortable to watch. Can anyone confirm? And he shows the post right here that has about 3,000 upvotes on r/H3 Productions. The podcast itself has 15,000 dislikes to 13k likes. Although I suspect a lot of these downvotes are coming from people who didn't even watch the show or don't regularly consume H3's podcast. Top comments include people saying, I'm worried that Ian is gonna quit. I'm not rich, I'm wealthy, this dude has lost touch. 2014 Ethan and Gila would have slapped 2020 Ethan and Gila for being so far up their own ass. And Ethan and Gila, employees be entertaining. Also Ethan and Gila, stop making us look bad. So you can see the comments aren't necessarily ringing endorsements, but what really is the problem here? Well, let's take a look at this clip that Memology threw up of the podcast, where he kind of explains the situation here. On the most recent H3 podcast, Ethan's good guy mask is falling off. He went nuclear and started roasting Ian the intern.
I don't know.
Do you have allergies or something? Like, do you have some kind of chronic illness?
Yeah, that's probably what's going on.
Ian, you're being a troll.
Do you have a chronic illness or of some kind?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. I mean, I just don't know why you're trying to make a joke out of this when I'm having genuine concern for your health.
I don't think. Well, as long as I don't have corona or anything, I'm cool.
I don't think it's got here yet, but.
Okay, so right off the bat, the only thing I find that's criticizable is how intensely boring this podcast is. Jokes aren't landing right. There's a severe amount of awkward energy in the room. This whole thing is just uncomfortable to watch, but not because I feel like Ethan's bullying his employee or his intern. It's just because nothing's landing and this is just not entertaining content to watch. That's where I get outraged. When it comes to if the employee is getting his feelings hurt, I don't get that vibe at all. I just feel like they're trying to make jokes that just aren't landing right. Let's keep watching.
You, by the sound of it, will be the first one to get it.
Oh, I got it, baby.
All right, Ian, I'm trying to include you in the show, but like...
Oh, he's got a corona.
Oh, what the fuck? Why you have a corona?
Crack open a cold one, my man.
Were you just waiting for this?
He's starting to sound like a soundbite machine.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm trying to include you in the show, and I don't know if you're doing shtick or if you're trying to engage in a serious conversation.
He's being a little trolly.
And I don't appreciate it.
That's the best place to be.
Again, Ethan's losing control of his own podcast here, and I know this is experience all too well because I do my own podcast pretty regularly, and starting off the show, we would frequently lose control because we had no idea what we're doing. Hell, sometimes it happens even still. But he's not being, like, mean here. He's not being, like, you know, a complete asshole. I mean, I guess a little bit, but it's really not anything worth, like, being like, whoa, Ethan's got to relax here. It's not, you know, anything like that, at least under my interpretation. Memology writes here, at first I thought this was just banter. However, during the second half of this, ... Ethan is just a massive asshole.
What am I doing? Why do you even talk to him? Like, I try to talk to him. I try to include him in the show. I like that dynamic here on the show is what makes it interesting for me. We got three guys back there, a bunch of characters, and the two of us in here. I'm trying to make the show interesting. I'm trying to enrich the dynamic. But Ian refuses to engage. Like, after all I've done for him, I gave him purpose. I gave him a job. I gave him a girlfriend, a love life, everything. I built him up to the man he is today. And I don't know what I do to deserve this disrespect. Like, I genuinely want to know how he is, and I'm getting shtick. I don't understand. What do you have to say about that? I'm not joking.
I think I offer a good balance. I think I'm differentiating from the two comedians next to me over here. We're offering a good.
Turn off his mic.
Pay attention to that right here. He refers to them as comedians. Well, you want to know something about comedians, and I don't speak like I'm some sort of comedian myself, but I do know that comedians rip the shit out of each other. That's their job, is when comedians get together, they tear into each other relentlessly. You know, people who go into comedy and expect it to be a very friendly environment are just completely full of themselves or just have no idea what they're getting into, and they need to leave, because that's not what it's about. The part where Ethan's bragging about all the stuff he's done for them, that's really the gotcha moment that the Reddit is looking for, because, you know, Ethan might be a shady dude, but a lot of the reasons why people go at him, they're just completely stupid. How about you talk about the fact that Ethan talked to Susan about getting Gokunara's video taken down, then couldn't answer for it when confronted with this allegation by Keemstar? There you've got something. But right here, this is just Ethan, the wannabe comedian, doing what comedians do, which is rip into each other. And the co-hosts. People on the internet like to insert themselves into other people's relationships and like to play like psychoanalysis, like, ooh, these guys are having a little bit of tension here, they're having a little bit of conflict here. Obviously, they must be getting ready to fire this guy. They must be getting ready to throw him out. Their employees must be disposable to these people. Ethan and Gila have lost it. They're just consumed by their wealth. They have no morals anymore. You know, people like to look into these clips and just come to radical conclusions based really off of nothing. Comedy is not a place to go into if you expect to be treated respectfully. That's just, it's not how it works. You're gonna get ripped into, you're gonna get shit on, and that's all part of the game. If you don't like that, you are entirely in the wrong environment. And for the record, I don't think Ethan's really a comedian, but if he wants to pretend to be one, then that's what you gotta do. And if people who watch the podcast felt uncomfortable by it, then you can turn off the screen, you know, change the channel. But I think it's ridiculous to just jump to this wild conclusion that Ethan is just going way too far. He's just insulting this guy, this poor, innocent intern. Ethan's just ripping into him mercilessly. Okay, relax. Calm down. It's not that bad.
Ballot.
I mean,
All right, let's move on because Ian's putting everyone to sleep.
we talk about everything.
I just did a whole. I mean,
Everything.
you guys will see at the copy read for Manscaped, I did a 7-minute monologue about how I nicked my shaft. But we have to move on because he's slowing the show down.
A little disrespectful.
Let's put it mildly. All right.
Notice how he's kind of like playing along with the joke too. I mean, according to Ethan, this is a regular bit that they do where Ethan pretends to be the asshole boss or whatever and he treats his employees like shit. I mean, this is like a bit that they're doing here and he knows that because he's playing along with it. He's not like crying on the podcast. He's not like, you know, that's really mean of you to say, Ethan, I bring a law to the show. He's not doing that because it's a bit. He knows it's a joke. Look, I've watched comedy podcasts with Bill Burr before where he's just ripping into people and it goes a little bit too far to the point where it actually is uncomfortable. Matter of fact, Ethan's podcast was one show where Bill Burr just did that and a lot of people call Bill out for that. But this podcast with Ethan is really not that bad at all. If you think this is bad, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's really not that big of a deal. Forget that they're all trying to be comedians here. Just look at it as guys being guys. You know, we talk shit to each other all the time. I mean, me and my closest friends talk wild shit to each other. We say horrible things because that's what guys do. I mean, it's all just part of the game. That's how it works. If you think this is bad, I feel like you just need to get some more perspective and just get out a little more and just learn how people interact with each other, especially guys and comedians. This just comes across as a major non-issue. Now, in case you are interested, Ethan did just put out a podcast kind of talking about this, giving his side, letting Ian talk, letting the other employee talk, letting Gila talk about it. And really, I don't think he even had to do this. I mean, I guess because, you know, his last podcast got, or not that one, but the other one got so many dislikes over here. Yeah, 15K dislikes. I guess he kind of had to address it, but to make a whole show based on responding to this just seems like a little bit of an overreaction. But I mean, Ethan's got to protect his brand. He's got to protect his image. I don't know. H3 strikes me as the type of dude who's very shady and also somebody who takes his brand very seriously. But if you want to go at him, taking this podcast as your ammunition to just fire at him with these Reddits and these tweets, oh, Ethan's being too mean, it's just stupid to me. Come on, people. I mean, why? That's just my perspective, though. You're, of course, free to disagree. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit like, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and turn on notifications. I believe me and Boblax will be live on his channel, so go check that out. YouTube.com/Boblax2 or Pounding Boblax. I don't know. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.